Welcome back to Open Line tonight. We are talking with the Comptroller and the Deputy Comptroller of Tennessee about Nashville's finances in the state that we're in right now. You all met with council members last week and kind of raised the red flags and said, this is a big issue. We need to pay attention to this. We have callers on the line wanting to ask questions. Lucy, thank you for your patience tonight. Lucy, go ahead.
Hey, y'all. Hey, gentlemen, thank you for coming on live like this. I'm a native Nashvilleian, and I've always been told to have trust in the state of Tennessee's Comptroller's office, that it is an unbiased department, and I have believed that all my life, you know, with all my heart. But I've been screaming for 10 years at some of the stuff that I've seen here in Nashville. The way they've been managing our money, it was so off skew to how I came up in this city, and things seem to be fiscally sound and responsible towards the taxpayers. You say we can't go back. I'm not going back to point fingers. I want to know where they started going astray and pull those back in. Now, I'm the one that called in when Vice Mayor Shulman was on a few weeks ago.
Oh, that's right, Lucy.
And I wasn't referring to TIF financing people getting deals on the water and electric. But, you know, I'll say, for instance, and I'm not trying to single these people out, but for instance, like Duke Realty, they get a discount. Any major building like that gets a discount on their electric rates. The more they use, the lower their rate. And I understood that to be water, too, with these kind of complexes. The more they use, the lower their rate. I think everybody should pay the same rate across the board. I was watching Channel 4 tonight with Nancy Amon. She interviewed Emily Evans. I think that's who you're talking about. And there's a report that was presented before the city council tonight or something. I'm going to try to find that report because it's on the budget cuts and whatnot. But Emily Emmons brought up the fact that down on Lower Broad, they have garbage pickup 11 times a day down there. I know they wash the streets down every morning. So it's things like that. When you look at the wee little taxpayer out here, we question who is watching the hen house. And I appreciate you guys coming in, but I'm sitting here looking at my watch and saying, what took y'all so long? Because the rest of us thought we were going kind of nuts that have seen how things is like a, you know, it's just like a big party here. And the TIF financing, it does bother me, but I also know that you got to hook utilities up and whatnot. Tennessee, Nashville historically has always been pay as you go. Not have a developer come in and have property 15 miles out and say, we want to develop this property. How about throwing in utilities now so we can flip that property and make some money? Those are the kinds of things that bug me. We can't save up the money. We can't issue some more bonds and slowly get it done. We have to do it now or yesterday. That is what has bothered me as a taxpayer. And everything that Taylor said in your previous caller, I agree with too. And I have confidence in the Tennessee Comptroller's office, but I'll be honest with you, I really don't have the confidence in Metro Council to really pull this off. I'll believe it when I see it. Thank you for listening.
All right, Lucy, thank you so very much. You said you are working actively with the council, with the leaders of this city. What has been your charge going forward, not just for this budget, but going forward to correct ways that have been long coming?
We have two basic issues. We have the current issue of simply having enough money, enough cash on hand to pay your bills so they come due. That is the most immediate and the one that we focus on immediately. We have structural issues too of making sure that the debt is paid and that you deal with the long-term liabilities, of which Nashville has. You know, they've got the pension plan and what we call OPEB. Now, what that really is medical benefits for the retired employees. There are substantial amounts of money there that that the employees are counting on, and made a deal and a promise to them that there's adequate money to pay those things. They're substantial, they're big numbers, but they're solvable, but you need to start the process now.
Going back to the premise of Lucy's question, she asked, when did this start going wrong? And again, it's not oversimplifying it to say it goes wrong anytime that a government spends more than they have coming in. So if you wanted to trace this back, go back to when Nashville started spending more than they had coming in. And you can get into all kinds of philosophies about government spending there. But it's important to remember that going forward, Nashville has been paying its debt by raiding the funds of other departments of government, including the water fund. Going forward, getting past this immediate year, Nashville needs to get back to build up its cash reserves, to have healthy reserves that are there for a rainy day. Some places call the reserve fund a rainy day fund. They need to be able to get to where they can make their debt payments without raiding reserves of other city agencies, so that everyone can operate in a safe and stable fashion.
Because some are calling saying we're going to have another recession, it's right around the corner. It sounds like we couldn't restructure our debt again if we wanted to.
Well, it creates a whole series of problems that Nashville doesn't need to have. And you know, other cities have failed to deal with it, and they will not have the future that Nashville is perfectly capable of having. We have a wonderful future. We have wonderful opportunity here, and this is a very solvable problem, and it's simply a question of solving it, dealing.
One of the problems of our great growth is we are now not paying our teachers, our first responders, particularly police officers, what they should be making in this size of city. It has constantly, the last few years, been a big debate when the budget is up for talk. And it sounds like everyone's hands are going to be tied this year again when it comes to giving these folks a well-deserved raise. Well,
how the Metro Council decides to spend the money is their decision.
Sure, it's up to them.
And it's up to them, and they have to determine their priorities. And the immediate, I don't see the money immediately there, but you know, unless they're willing to cut somewhere else.
One thing that is important to mention is that it has been alleged since we've been at the Metro Council that perhaps the state is not giving Nashville its fair share of education dollars. And this is what we can say about that. The state uses the BEP funding formula for education dollar allocation. Now, we can verify for you, for your viewers, and for anyone interested that the city of Nashville is receiving every dollar they are entitled to under the BEP formula. Now, you can ask a question about maybe the pie should be bigger, maybe more dollars should be going to every education system in the state, and that's a valid discussion and debate to have. That's not what we're about. But I want everybody to know, we want everybody to know, that Nashville's not being shorted. They're getting every dollar they're entitled to under the BEP funding formula. Now, the Comptroller pointed out last week, and I used to be a member of the legislature representing many school systems. There are 132 in the state. We haven't come across one yet that says, you know what, I'm getting too much money. Everyone tends to think they're getting less than they need, but we can assure you through methods we know about that Nashville is getting every dollar they deserve allocated under the current funding formula. You have a great team of legislators here in Davidson County, great folks like Senator Steve Dickerson and so many others. If people think the pie needs to be a little bit bigger in terms of education dollars, or that formula needs changed, talking with your legislators is the key to that.
And the budget for the school system, for Metro schools, is a substantial part of the city's budget. What, 40%?
Over 40%, yes.
So, I mean, we're talking about a big chunk of it.
We're talking about a substantial amount of money, and you know, one of the interesting things is that across the country in the last 7 years, if you look at the different states, 44 states have at least 1 year cut the amount of money that goes for K through 12 education. Tennessee is one of the 6 states that has not cut the amount of money going for K through 12 education. So I'm certainly not arguing that there's enough money, but I am saying that Tennessee is doing a share.
Okay. We have to take another quick break. The phone lines are open right now, so if you want to call in, you can do so, and we'll get those lined up during the break. 615-737+.